Hello. Hello, and welcome to Board Games and Coffee. Wow. Let's try that again. Should I cancel this one? Hello, and welcome to Board Games and Coffee. Today, we're going to be talking about my favorite publishers. Now, you might be wondering, why make a video about the publishers? Why not just make a video about my favorite new board games? And actually, I think there are a few good reasons why board game hobbyists should pay attention to the publishers that they're buying from. I wrote down three. So the first and the most obvious one is that when you are buying from the same publisher, or you start to choose a publisher that you want to work with, if you're a reviewer, you can depend on consistent quality and designs, or a similar profile in all of the games. Either those games are always very thematic, or those games always have excellent components, or whatever it is that you're really into, you can expect consistency when you go with the same publisher. Now, that's something that you probably can take for granted, right? We know that that's true. But the other thing that I think is really important is that in an ever increasingly competitive setting, I think that when you find a good company that operates in a way that you appreciate, in whatever values it is that you are looking for, whether that's because you like their mission to make games for everybody, or if it's because of their sustainability values, or whatever that is, when you are in the world of board gaming right now, it is so competitive. To be able to identify a company that you can really get behind and support them is something worth doing. And then finally, I just returned from Essenspiel. This was my third year at Essenspiel, and it was a fantastic year. I learned a lot this time around. I had several meetings, and I met with a lot of these publishers one-on-one. And now, this might be hard for me to describe because I'm not in the business of publishing, I'm in the business of reviewing, and so I don't understand exactly how the operations of publishing work. But one of the things that I observe when I'm on the convention floor is that there's such a variety of ways that companies participate in the production of games and the distribution of games. So you've got some companies or publishers, I guess, that are in distribution. And so some board games, they have their distribution rights are given to all sorts of publishers all over the world, depending on where the language is and the region is. And you see some games that are very easy to identify because they get a lot of press and because they're covered by a lot of publishers. And then you have other publishers that are a little bit more like family-based, and things that they do are in-house. And when they have a game, they have exclusive, either they own the IP for the game, or they have exclusive rights for the distribution of the game. And those publishers are a little bit, they're a little bit smaller, typically. Now, exactly how these companies all operate there's a little bit of a veil between me and that, because I don't do it. But what I find is that the smaller publishers, they have a greater specificity about what it is they do and what it is they want to accomplish, the kinds of games that they produce. And so while I could just be covering any game, all games, whatever the game is, I'll cover it based on what the game is. What I actually find out that I really enjoy doing is bringing light to games that don't get as much of attention. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you've probably identified that with what I do. I try very hard to identify games that aren't just great, but also games that you probably haven't heard of, if I can. So some of the biggest titles, there's a couple of reasons why I don't cover the biggest titles. One is because they already have a ton of coverage anyway, so I don't really see myself adding much value by just being one more voice. But I find a lot of value in finding the games that people don't know about. And so I suppose this is my third reason for why one should care about publishers, because when you get that specificity for what it is that you really enjoy, it's really fun to be on board because it feels like you're part of that publishers community. And whether that's participating in the online forums or asking, frequently asked questions, or whether you're a reviewer like me and you're showing up to get review copies, whatever it is, that is a much more intimate feel. So those are at least 3 reasons why I think one should care what kinds of publishers that they support. I'd like to know if you've got another reason for supporting a publisher. If you want to share that in the comments or or down below. But today, I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite publishers, and these are going to be the ones that I've worked with frequently, who have produced games that I really, really love, and who have upcoming games that I'm very excited about. Now, I've worked with a lot of really great publishers, but sometimes I've only done 1 or 2 games here or there. So today I'm going to focus on the ones where I've covered multiple games. And I'm also going to talk to you or share with you a few of the publishers that I met at this year's Spiel and who I look forward to meeting with in the future. Good. So that said, let's begin with number 1. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, so one of my favorite, I got 4 publishers that I'm really excited about. Number 1 is Bad Comet, which is based out of South Korea, and their new game is called Shallow Sea, which I'll be talking about on this channel very, very soon. But they have... Oh, hold on a second. There we go. Okay, I pulled up some mission statements as well. They've done Life of Amazonia, and... Oh, I thought I wouldn't need to write it down. I should have written it down. Oh, Wondrous Creatures, boom. Games that I've really, really loved. And so if I read the mission statement to you, it says, we believe that games have the power to make everyone happy regardless of age, nationality, or gender. Bad Comet's purpose in creating board games is to gift quality time between grandparents and their grandchildren, to a group of friends together at last, or for that goblin after a long night out. All in all, we're here to create something for everyone. And so that's their mission statement. But what I see they do in order to draw everybody together is they consistently deliver games with solid, proven mechanics, whether that's worker placement or tableau building, or I don't know anything about Shallow Sea yet. I actually haven't played it. I haven't read the rule book, which is pretty uncommon. But when they reached out to me and they said, we've got another game we want to send you, I said, send it. I'll cover anything. You guys are great. So I will be talking about that one very soon. I know that it is going to be a Kickstarter this October. Shallow Sea is. So that's Bad Comet. The next publisher, now I went up to Inside Up Games, and I talked to Connor McGoey, or I don't know how to say it, McGoey. Sorry, Connor. And I told him, Inside Up Games is one of my favorite publishers, and he said, you say that to everyone. And I said, no, I don't. I will name my favorite publishers for you. And I told him what my favorite publishers are, and that's also my idea for making this video. So in a way, this video is for you, because Inside Up is truly one of my favorite publishers. So I got this little treat from Essenspiel, Terminus, which is the heaviest game that I've seen come out of Inside Up Games. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to cover it, because it is a very deeply strategic game. I haven't tried it yet. I've read the rulebook, but I absolutely knew when I saw something of this depth coming out of Inside Up Games that I had to cover it. The first game that I covered with them was Earth, and then Draft and Write Records, which I also very much enjoyed. And I have Perch coming in the mail very soon. Perch, I had a chance to try Perch Essenspiel, which is kind of a take that sort of game, which I don't usually play, but we really enjoyed that one. And again, I've really taken a liking to publishers that really invest in the quality components, because I think it is true that when you are pulling together your family to get people to the table, it helps to have a game that is absolutely beautiful. I actually did pull up the mission statement for them too. Inside Up Games is a Canadian board game design and publication company with one simple goal: to create exciting and entertaining games so you can have fun with your family and friends. We believe that everyone deserves a spot at the table and strive to create gaming experiences that are enjoyable and inclusive. You're going to see that this is a trend on my channel, Board Game Dad, after all, that I really like publishers that target everyone. Okay. Thank you for your comments, by the way. If you have any questions, I think I'll save them before the end. I've got a few things loaded up on the screen here, so forgive me if I'm a little distracted. The next one, let's see, what do we have? That one's for later. Okay. The next one is actually breaks away from the family board games. It is more of the expert style board games, and the game is, or the publisher is, Delicious Games. So I've covered Delicious Games, I think, more than any other publisher on this channel. Praga Caput Reni, Woodcraft, Shipyard, Evacuation, which I pulled out here, which I've pulled up here, and it's still a favorite game of mine. These are all games by the designer Vladimir Sushi, and so this is based out of Czech Republic. And one of the things that I really admire about Mr. Sushi's designs is they're really quite diverse. They've got several different mechanics that I think are full of depth, but consistently he designs games that have a set number of turns, and I really appreciate that because they make every turn really count. And so one more publisher that I really love, it may even be my favorite publisher because they cover the expert games so well and they do the family games, and that is Alley Cat Games, which is based out of the UK. And I've covered Autobahn, Arborea, and very soon I'll be covering Ada's Dreams because I was actually a Kickstarter backer for them. Oh, and the first game that I haven't really reviewed a family game from them yet, but I did get Happy Home in Essenspiel, and this is a tile placing game about placing furniture in your house. So I have a review for this coming up very soon. I hope you will watch. All right. There are 5 new publishers that I will be working with in the future. So these are ones that either actually almost all of the except for the demos games. I don't even own games by these publishers. They're very, very new to me. Now that doesn't mean they're new publishers. They've been out for at least a few years, but I usually do a lot of research into the games that I'm interested in covering on this channel, because I very much want to support publishers that I like, and I think that through getting to know these publishers, it helps me find better games to recommend on the channel. So I did a lot of research in preparation for Essenspiel, and I selected these 5 publishers that I want to be working with in the future. So the first one, we'll start with this one, is Adam's Apple Games. Adam's Apple Games, which I have Planet Unknown from them, and I also have Sword Crafters from Adam's Apple Games. They have another mission statement, which I think is worth reading. It's actually one of my favorite mission statements of all of these publishers. They say, a simple equation that explains our philosophy to creating a great game. Fun, immersion, tension, interaction. Our themes will surround you, helping you learn the game without getting in the way of having fun. Our mechanics will surprise you because we don't settle for what worked in the past. I love that. I'm going to comment about that in a minute. Our games will be the ones you reach for because the learning curve is short, smooth, and satisfying. So those statements mean so much to me. I think I love those statements. And I think the a lot of the publishers that don't have statements like that, they design games like that because the mechanics that will surprise you, like, gosh, I only want to be covering games that do something that is like new and innovative. Of course, sometimes I do things that, you know, that add something new, but and then this one, because our themes will surround you, helping you learn the game. That to me means so much. If the game theme is so interwoven into the mechanics that you can explain how to play the game through the theme, that is so valuable to me. So I'm really excited about what's coming from Adam's Apple Games. And I wanted to mention, I did a demo for Defenders of the Dictionary. That game is going to be fantastic. It is a very thematic, cooperative Scrabble, basically. All right, so I'm going to do the rest of these pretty quickly, though, because, like I said, I don't know these publishers as well. I'm getting to know them. But the next one is Arcane Wonders, and I found them because of this game, World Wonders, because, as you know, I homeschool my kids, and I wanted a game that would cover ancient civilizations. So I found this game, and I went to go check them out and meet with them, and oh my gosh, just everything about this company gives me good feelings. Like the employees are happy, the employees love the company that they work for, the quality of the games is fantastic. I also picked up Foundations Metropolis, which I can't wait to show you what's inside this box. This is an awesome game. And then even the thumbnail image for this video, the background there, what you see is the game that's being demoed and coming out next year called Ras, Dance of Love, which is just brilliant. So I'm excited about everything that this company is doing. This is definitely a publisher that I want to be working with and sharing games that come from them. Oh, also Aquatica. Now, I don't normally cover like medium heavy games, but Aquatica was great. I usually do like expert games and then family games. And Aquatica's somewhere in the middle there, and I don't think I'll review it, but if you like kind of like the medium heavy, boy, that was great. Okay. Quickly on Dranda Games. So Dranda Games I found through Explorers of Navoria, which is in the mail, and I will be covering that very soon. Dranda Games also has a new game coming out soon. I can't remember if the Kickstarter is starting or going on, but Mutagen. Mutagen is another really cool worker placement game. I will make a 60-second short about that. And I really liked working with the communications manager there, or media manager. So Dranda, Devere. The only game I've ever covered from Devere is the White Castle. That's more of a heavier game, but it's got that lovely like set number of turns, which I really enjoyed. And then I read a lot of rule books for heavy games this year. The one that caught my attention and I bought was Daitoshi. Daitoshi, I think, is one of the coolest heavy games this year at Essenspiel. Okay, and the next one, very excited about, actually, it's also the last one that I'm going to cover in this video, is A-Line Games. A-Line Games from Norway. So I've got two games which I found because of how great they are for families. So I will be reviewing these like very soon, like within the next week soon. Maybe I'll record one like after this video closes. Sparks. This is like a more accessible dice placement game. I like it because it reminds me of Raising Robots. Reminds me of Raising Robots, but I think it's a lot more accessible. Raising Robots is there's a lot of resource management, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. Sparks, which is dice placement, and I really enjoy dice placement. It's a lot simpler. This game is, and then finally a tile placing game with everyone acting simultaneously. Guardlings. This is a lot like Quacks of Quedlinburg if instead of placing or potion ingredients, you're placing dominoes, kind of like the game King Domino, but everyone doing it at the same time and trying not to bust. So we played that last night and my kids loved it. A very accessible game. So I will be reviewing these games very soon. Uh, those are my favorite publishers. And let's see if there's any questions. You know, I will say there's only one comment, not a question. But things are a little weird now. I only released a photograph a couple of weeks ago or about over a month ago now, of me and my family when my wife was pregnant with the twins. Well, now the twins have been born, and I have my little video monitor here that I'm watching because they're sleeping right now. So if you're wondering why I'm no longer doing board games and coffee at a consistent hour, it's because I can do board games and coffee whenever I can do board games and coffee. So that's what's up. And the twins are delightful. I will say also that one of the reasons why I'm not covering a game from Delicious Games this year, like Risafa, is because I don't think I have time to cover multiple heavy games. So, unfortunately, I'm going to be focusing more on staying home, playing with the kids, playing family games, and we'll be looking at a lot of those in the coming year or so. Anyway, thank you again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.